Hi, this is Dave Gregor from the American death metal band Morta Skuld. I want to invite you to Dethrone Records YouTube channel, so please go and hit the like button and subscribe to check out all these amazing interviews by all these amazing artists. Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good right now. The pandemic was definitely something that we all struggled through. I definitely think it was, I don't know, a test to see how well you could do or weather through the situation. I will say this much: I do think it really hurt a lot of people mentally, though. We do have a big mental health crisis issue going on right now, and I do feel that was due to it. It's really hard to lock people up in their house, or, well, not lock them up, but tell them they got to stay quarantined, they can't go here, can't go there. A lot of us lost jobs, including myself. I lost 2 jobs over the pandemic, so it was definitely a very difficult time for everybody. But I think a lot of us made it through and, did what we had to do to get through. So I think that's human nature with anybody. I think you just do what you got to do to kind of get through things and, come out the other end and take that experience and learn from it. As far as music goes, I'm pretty much an old school guy. I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, and, of course, I was a young adult in the 80s. So I really have my classic bands that I do enjoy. I'm really into the Scorpions still, and Michael Schenker, and Accept. All of their new records I really enjoy. I'm a big Alice Cooper fan, so his last record was really awesome. Big fan of him too. As far as new bands, I really don't know if there's a lot of new bands that I really listen to. Like, I'm kind of more of a classic guy. Like, I still like the, classic Morbid Angel, Obituary, Deicide, Cancer, Carcass, Bolt Thrower, Entomb, just all the, Grave, Unleashed. I mean, all the classic bands that were coming out with records the same time that we were. So I pretty much tend to, if there's something that comes out, I'll definitely give it a listen to. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. Everybody's got their opinions and what they like and what they don't. So it really varies as far as music goes. But I'm pretty much, I stick to what I like, and like even back in the day, Foreigner, Styx, Motley Crue, stuff like that. So I still enjoy listening to a lot of that music as well. But as far as like the new stuff, like I said, my buddies in Skeletal Remains, I dig their new stuff. Frozen Soul, good guys, good music. So I do listen to some of the newer stuff, and like I said, if I like it, I do. If I don't, I don't. It's all good. Everybody has an opinion, and as far as what they like, and I think that's the most important thing, is that what makes the world go around. Everybody's got a certain taste for certain things, but the classic stuff is pretty much what I tend to gravitate towards. Aside from the band, I am a driver at a BMW Mercedes Alfa Romero dealership here in Wisconsin. So I test drive all the cars after they are serviced and ready to give back to the customer. I know John works at an Amazon warehouse in Appleton, where they live. Adam, our guitar player, works at a Quick Trip, which is a local chain. I don't say if they're local, but for here, local chain, Quick Trip, noted for their food and their amazing workers. And then Eric, our drummer, is self-employed. So we all definitely have outside jobs when we're not touring or playing festivals. So I started the idea of Morta Skuld back in 1989. I had started a crossover hardcore band, SOD, MOD type stuff, called Delayed Stress. We did a demo, and then the band broke up. And I remember thinking I really wanted to get I wanted to work on my heavier roots the Testament and the Exodus and, just the heavy down chunking, stuff. And so I really wanted to kind of get into that. And then, of course, I had heard Death Leprosy for the first time, which obviously Death, huge influence on me. I mean, the band was pretty much, I tried to model myself after Death, but obviously, without cloning or copying or stealing or whatever you want to call it. But we were, I remember we were a 5-piece, and I remember we had a song where we all switched instruments, and a friend of mine was like, hey, you sound better on vocals than your vocalist, so maybe you should get rid of him. And we decided to do that, and then when we did that, I noticed I really didn't have any lyric writing skills. I had never sang before, so my buddy helped me out with writing lyrics and phrasing stuff for the first demo, Gory Departure. After Gory Departure, about, I don't know if it's 3 or 6 months later, we decided to enter the studio with our second venture called Prolong the Agony. So Prolong the Agony started getting some circulation in the underground, and I got a call from Johnny from Def Records, and he basically was like, hey man, I really want to sign you guys to a 3-record deal. Your demo's just blowing up all the zines over here, so we were like, let's do this. We went on to record Dying Remains, As Humanity Fades, and For All Eternity with Peaceville Records. After the original, let me think here, the original was released on Def Records, and then Def Records had gone out of business, and Peaceville had acquired 2 bands off the roster. I can't remember the other band, but it was us and somebody else. And that's when we moved over to the Peaceville Records division. And then that's when the other 2 records came out on the Peaceville label. So once those 3 records were done, we were looking for a 4th record. At that time, the grunge music had started to come out, so a lot of labels were gravitating towards bands of that nature. Our label just, I don't know, wasn't interested in doing another record, so we decided, we were in process of writing Surface, and we talked to Pavement Music. And Pavement Music was like, yeah, we'll license the record for a release. So Pavement Music picked that up and released that. And then shortly after that, I believe is when we supported Slayer in our hometown and was to go on our first tour. Things happened with personnel on the tour. We weren't able to complete it. We came home. The band disbanded and then got back together in 2011. As far as formats, any of the band camps, I believe, have all these releases. PeacevilleRecords.com has all the records in CD and vinyl format. And then as far as, I'm trying to think of other formats here. I think that's about it. Otherwise, there's Spotify. We're definitely on Peaceville Records Spotify. We have several Bandcamp pages. For each record, they put out a Bandcamp page. We also have that as well. So there was definitely, and also since we have actually re-released those records, so the first 3 records are remastered and available on those particular links that I had mentioned. As far as original members go, the demo Gory Departure was Jesse Rofritz, Kevin Zeitler, myself, and Jason Hellman. Then the Prolong the Agony demo was Jason Hellman, myself, Jason O'Connell, and then Jeff Yeager. And then once we got signed to Def Peaceville, then it was Kent Truckenbrod on drums, myself guitar and vocals, Jason Hellman on bass, and then Jason O'Connell on guitars. And that lineup stayed together for 8 years and did the first 4 records. So I hope I covered all the bases for you guys, but yeah, our records can be got in pretty much any format. You can just Google Creation Undone, Dying Remains, whatever, just put it in your Google search, and I'm sure a bunch of different buy options will come up, our search engines for you. Yeah, in February, we released Creation Undone, which is our latest effort on Peaceville Records. As far as the recording process for this, it was definitely done a little differently. Or even the writing process. Normally in the past, what we would do is we would, write a new song, and then the next time we'd come to rehearsal, we would play it again, and then start writing a new song. This time we decided once the song was done, we're putting it in a file, we're going to put it in the vault, and then we're not going to revisit it until we have the whole record done. So each practice we were able to come to and just be fresh, fresh and not, you're not tired already from playing 3 or 4 songs, not saying tired, but you do spend some energy, and then all of a sudden you're trying to come up with this new stuff and be fresh and organic about it. So I think that was definitely one step that really helped us in that process. As far as the recording process goes, the only really different thing we did this time around is I know I doubled all of my solos to give them a little bit more feel and a little bit more kind of more in your kind of just a little bit more level with the rest of the music. But what we did for pre-tracking is Eric, normally he would be in the sound room and then I would be in the other sound room, and he would just hear me instead of see me. So this time around what we did is we got the whole band together in kind of a circle, and we actually all played as a band while he would record his drum tracks. And I think that gave it the energy it needed. And I think it was good. I think it was better for him too, because he could kind of see us and make eye contact with us, and we could kind of all feed off of each other to get that energy. So, otherwise than that, I really wasn't too much done differently. This time around I did a single track of vocals instead of double. Doubled my solos and 4 tracks of rhythms. So pretty much everything else was the same. I would just say the getting the drums. That process of getting them recorded was probably the only different thing that we did at this particular time. I don't really have any crazy stories to share. I just know there was an amazing taco truck across the street from where we recorded, so every weekend we went in, we were looking forward to visiting the taco truck because it was just some amazing stuff. So not a crazy story, but that was really that was about it. So we really had a great time going into Bell City Sound with Chris DeJuric again, and I think we got a really great mix with David Taro and, or I should say Master, and I just think it really turned out great, so we're very happy with this record. I've been working with Peaceville Records since the early 2000s. Once Morta Skuld ran its course in '98, I decided to start up a kind of more of a radio friendly type, some people say new metal band that put out a couple of records. And I had been talking with Peaceville to try to get them to possibly release that particular band, but unfortunately they weren't really looking for they weren't looking for that type of material. So, but I've been in touch with them since the early 2000s, and then once I decided to start Morta Skuld again in 2011, we had started talks about doing a new record. So I have a really good relationship with Paul that runs the label, and we definitely have a good rapport, and we bounce ideas off of each other all the time, and they're very receptive to stuff that we want to do. So we're very grateful to be part of the Peaceville Records family, and it's just a very a big legacy for that label. They have a lot of iconic bands that had started off on that particular label. As far as for me, when it comes to writing a song, I usually like to start a song out with a title, even though I don't have, let's say, maybe the music. I do like to kind of title and have some kind of overall idea of what the song is entailing, so that way I can really, research the topic. Or, I write a lot of common things and a lot of common feelings that people have in general. So I like to write about life experiences, especially my own, because who else is an expert in my experiences besides me? I do like to start, like I said, with a title of a topic, and then I try to build the lyrics around it. I do sometimes wait for the song to be finished, and then I'll go, yeah, this kind of reminds me of this, so I'm going to title it this, and then I start the lyrics. And then once the lyrics are finished and I'm singing to the song and it's comfortable, then I'll consider it done. But I have been known to go back and change lyrics a couple of times, or I know on this last record creation Undone, I think there were like 5 songs that we scrapped. There was like 3 songs that I had written that I really wasn't happy with, and we just scrapped everything and just kind of started over fresh. So, writing process can differ sometimes, but for the most part, I like to sit in my awesome basement and I sit at my laptop and, type away and see what I can come up with, especially with being a vocalist, guitar player. There's a certain sort of syncopation that you kind of, develop. And so I have my style and what I do, and I just try to adapt it to the song when it's completely finished. Yeah, my views on AI, I don't know. It's getting really, I think, more difficult these days to not. I don't know what the word is. I think everybody I think it's opinion based like everybody else. You either like it or you don't, or you have problems with it or you don't. I think it's becoming more prevalent in our lifestyle, though. I mean, like if I go to if I go to Facebook and I go to the search thing right away, there's an AI search engine that comes up. On my phone for text messages, Gemini, that's another AI search. So it's really hard to get away from. I do know that there are some bands that use it for art, and I don't know if I view it good or bad. I mean, Photoshop could be considered a form of AI too, and we've been using that for how many years to come up with album covers. So I think in that part too, a lot of people don't realize that getting an art cover done by somebody, especially a well-known artist, can cost quite a bit of money to the band or to the label. When we were searching for album covers for Creation Undone, I mean, we were quoted $5,000, $6,000 for an album cover, and that's something you're not going to recoup cost-wise either. It's just an expense. So I think when it comes to art covers, I think that's something to be considered, or at least people to maybe take into consideration. I do not agree with it maybe being used for music and lyrics, because I think that would obviously take all the creation or the organicness or the just the creation process. It would just take it out of the loop, and I guess that'd be no different than like having your friend maybe write the song and write all the lyrics and then you take it for your own. So that could be another way to look at it. I just look at it as it's an opinion. You either like it, you don't, or you have your disagreements with it. But I personally don't feel it should be used to write music or lyrics, especially if you're a new band, well, any band for that matter. We have heard that, I think there was a Madonna, I think, used it to write a song, and I think there was some Beatles thing that they rewrote a song with or whatever. And I think just the other day I heard something which just came across me on my Google feed, and it was I think it was a Metallica song, or it was some song, and they put in an AI generator to make it sound like a 50s song. And it was just like crazy how they can do that. So the technology is definitely progressing. I don't know how we get away from it, especially when I feel like it's kind of being maybe forced on us a little bit too much, or like maybe trying to depend on it too much. So again, I think there's strong opinions and maybe no opinions. So it just depends on what you believe and what your core morals and belief system is. But I do think if you're a band, I think you should write your own music and write your own lyrics. I think that's paramount. And like I said, it's really in the eye of the beholder. Some people look at it as a great thing and a tool they can use. Some people look at it as it's an evil thing, or it's something that we have to be careful of, because we obviously don't want it taking over our lives or replacing us, and people losing jobs, not be able to work. So it definitely could have a snowball effect, and I definitely can see why some people are concerned. So I think we definitely should have some kind of parameters or maybe rules around that particular format. As far as concerts go, to me, like something memorable, man, I remember we opened for Slayer back in '98, and I just remember the management basically being really strict about setup time, and he's like, if you can't get your equipment set up in 5 minutes, we're gonna chew into your set time. And I remember we only got like a 25-minute set with Slayer. we were nervous because we had heard the stories, people getting booed and, that kind of stuff, which didn't happen to us. So we were very grateful for that, and grateful for the opportunity to support such an iconic band. But for me, memory-wise, I'd say as I get older, they kind of get a little fuzzy. But 2 years ago, we did the UK Death Fest, and that still sits with me as like probably one of the best memorable fest, because back in the 90s, we had become friends with a lot of bands, Suffocation, Immolation, Obituary, all these guys. And as you get older, sometimes you lose touch with certain people. Certain people go one way, you go another. And that's the case for me. I have lost touch with a lot of people. But when I was there when we played that show, it was great to see the guys in Immolation again, the guys in Cancer, Autopsy, which is our label mates, as well as Cancer. So it was really great to see those bands again after, 20 some years or even more, 25, 30 years of maybe not playing with that band or being in touch with that person. So that was a great memory for me. I was just like a kid in the candy store. It reminded me back of the original days of Metal Fest, where before the fest would happen, all the bands would stay in a certain hotel, and I would just run down there and just go from room to room to room and just hang out with people. That's how I met, Alex and Cannibal Corpse, and Kelly from Atheist, and Terrence from Suffocation. So I mean, we all, it definitely was a closer circle back then. But I really appreciate those memories, and like I said, it was great to play the UK Death Fest and with some amazing legendary bands that that we had played with and became friends with. As far as the Milwaukee metal scene or underground scene here, I really don't know if there is one anymore, to be honest with you, because I always considered everything to be above ground with the internet. Back in the days with the underground, you had to really search out your favorite bands. You had to go to your record stores and look in the local bins section, and you really had to work for it. Nowadays, you can just go online and boop, there they are. So I don't know if there's really an underground scene here anymore, per se, like I said, especially with the birth of social media, internet. But I do know Milwaukee, Jamie Josta has brought back the Milwaukee Metal Fest, which is awesome. I always feel that Milwaukee, especially for death metal, was another birthplace besides just Florida. I thought Milwaukee had a lot to give to the death metal scene, and by him bringing that back, I think it just shows that Milwaukee's got a strong scene. We have a lot of young bands right now, playing and breaking out and trying to do their thing, and so I don't know if the scene's comparable to the way it was in the 90s, because like I said, it's definitely changed a lot since the 90s. Excuse me, but I can tell you there's definitely a lot of fruitful bands in town, young bands that are tearing it up and doing a great job of representing Milwaukee. So 3 movies or TV series for me, I would have to say any of the Hangovers I really enjoy. I could watch those all day long. Those are always funny for me, and I don't know, I just enjoy watching them. I think they picked out a great cast, and I love the soundtracks to each one of them too, so I think that's a great movie. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I like pretty much most of them. There's a few I don't care for, but the one I would have to say that stands out for me is probably the Empire Strikes Back. That's always been my favorite. And as far as TV series, I'm a big fan of early 2000, well maybe 2008-ish, called The Shield with Michael Chiklis. It's a cop series. Very cool drama. I just liked how it was so raw, the way they filmed it, and it just kind of gave you like a more of a real feel for things versus like some of the other cop dramas. And I don't know, I just really got really into the characters, and it really drew me in. And I have the series on box set right now, and every once in a while I will go through the series from front to end. So I think I've probably done it about maybe 2 or 3 times at this point, so I'm probably overdue for that again. But that would be one of my favorite series. We also know Kurt Sutter was a writer on The Shield. He went on to do Sons of Anarchy, so that's another good one too. But the Shield, it was kind of like the Shield, but in biker format. So I really gravitate towards the Shield a little bit more. But those would be my 3 favorites. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate everybody's support. If you are interested in getting any of our material, peacevillerecords.com, theburningshed.com, anywhere you can just Google in Morta Skuld or Creation Undone. There's many different distro sites for that. We also do have shirts available at the Season of Mist USA and Season of Mist Europe sites. We do have several Bandcamp pages. There is a Bandcamp page that is run by the band. It's got the Surface record on it. If you go to the merch tab, I believe it's merch 8. There you can get a lot of our shirts and hoodies. Also, we do partner with a lot of other outside agencies like DNA Project. He's got a lot of great shirts available still, so go and visit his site, Pull the Plug Patches. We do a lot of licensing through them, and then also the Wickedness store. He's got shirts and like flags available. So if anybody wants any merchandise and we're not coming through on tour, or you have a hard time, you can't find it, I'd look up some of those people I mentioned. They're all good people to work with, and the product is always fully and endorsed by us officially. So again, thank you for Dethrone Records. Please go and subscribe, hit their like button, and I hope everybody enjoyed this interview. If you have any questions, obviously once the video is posted, you can ask me what you need to. So again, I appreciate everybody's time. I thank you for supporting Morta Skuld. It's definitely been an exciting year for us, and we look forward to sharing new material and playing hopefully in a country or a city by you or near you soon. So thank you so much. Metal.